Hey guys, it's SteveJones313 here, thanks for tuning in. This is a mini episode of Dear SteveJones313. Basically, we've got a pre-season show coming up soon called Dear SteveJones313 Well. And after that, we'll be doing the brand new season of Dear SteveJones313. So I just thought we'd put a little bit of a show together just for a bit of fun, get back in the swing of things, see what kind of questions we can look forward to. So, let's not waste any more time, let's get right into the first question. Our first question comes from NanoElite666 from DeviantArt, who asks, will sharks and bears be prominently featured in the new season of Dear SteveJones313? You couldn't fucking resist it, could you? First question of the entire thing, and it had to be a bear versus shark question. You bastard. You know what, it's fine. It's fine, Nano. It's absolutely fine, Nano. You know, there probably will be. You see, the only way that bear versus shark questions will make it in the new season is if you guys, the viewers, all the people out there, ask me bear versus shark questions. Now, I know that every single episode of Season 1 had a bear versus shark question in there somewhere, and every single mini episode I've ever done has had a bear versus shark question in there, but who knows, maybe in Season 2, maybe there won't be any bear versus shark questions. Maybe no one cares anymore about the bear versus shark questions. You ever thought about that, Nano? I don't know why. I don't know why I'm getting stressed out. It doesn't matter. See? At the end of the day, I'll win, Nano, because the bear versus shark questions will just disappear. So, why don't we just move on to the next question? JB from Asherton asks, Bearshark or Spider Mutant? Roll the clip. So, I've been asked, would a Bearshark or a Spider Mutant win in a fight? Now, a Spider Mutant, would that be like Spider-Man? No. Well, anyway, that's it. So, let's see. Can I get a picture of a Bearshark? Ooh. That's pretty nasty. Okay, how about a picture of a Spider Mutant? God, it's hideous. Anyway, okay, logic, Stephen, try to get that logic. You know what? I'm gonna go for the Spider Mutant. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I know bear versus shark, the bear always wins, and sometimes the shark, sometimes the shark gets one. But hear me out. Spiders have these amazing abilities, like carrying several times their own body weight, the ability to create webbing. They're very clever creatures, and honestly, I think they'll have the advantage over the Bearshark. And who knows, they might even have some kind of poisonous venom in them. They are spiders after all. So I suppose it depends on what kind of spider we're looking at, really. But I think most variations of the Spider Mutant will win. Point for the Spider Mutant? Don't worry, I doubt it'll be canon for the rest of the season. So, next question. AJ from Ashington asks, Imagine you lived in a utopianistic world, and what if you discovered a condemning secret that was so heinous, at least in your perspective? What would you do with this secret? Would you destroy the world by revealing it, or would you keep the secret to yourself and allow the utopianistic world to continue under the promise of a lie? Okay. This is actually an interesting question for me, because I take a great interest in ethics and religion and all those wonderful things. So I'm imagining I'm living in a utopianistic world, assuming utopianistic is a word. I think I made that one up. Um, um, and I found out that a heinous secret that would condemn this world. I would probably keep it to myself. It really does depend on what the secret is, but let's assume it is as... Let's assume that it is as heinous as millions were killed in order to create this utopia. Maybe it's a case that there a false war, perhaps, that led to this utopia world being created. If this utopia world was truly a utopia, where people had freedoms and, things were going all right, and it looked good for the human race, I would probably keep it to myself, kind of torturing myself with the truth, and then as I'm on my deathbed, I would give the secret to another and allow them to make the choice as well, whether to keep it or to destroy the world with it. Because at the end of the day, the secret does belong to mankind, but there's a certain responsibility to be had with it. So I'd probably keep the secret to myself and then pass it on to allow future generations to make the decision. So why don't we move on to the next question? Right, so Tammy from South Stanley asks, why is it people in care start out okay, then slowly lose their independence? Is it because the staff help too much, or is it the person gives up? And also, should families be allowed to place hidden cameras in the rooms to make sure they're being cared for okay? Alright, so this is a double-barrel question, so I'm going to try and address this in two parts. The first part about how people start in care okay, and then slowly lose their independence. Well, it's sort of an inevitability of the whole thing. I mean, first of all, people in care tend to be aging or disabled either physically or mentally, or both, or aging as well as them. It's not... We like to think that care homes are happy places where, like in the movies, where they all go to these classes and it's all happy, having fun. They try to... they just try to have a good time and try to be comfortable, but really, reality sucks. A lot of people, they go in there, their lives are, everything in their daily life requires help in some, whether it's going to the bathroom, cleaning yourself up in the bathroom, having a bath, which admittedly could be fun in some respects. So let's face it, you're never going to sleep with that attractive student nurse, are you? I'm fine. I'm taken. I never have dreams about sleeping with nurses. But anyway, but it's, you need help, getting dressed, getting undressed, getting into bed, getting out of bed, and plus you're on so many different medications. I mean, I'm not saying it's a depressive, hopeless life. I'm not saying that at all. It's all about how you make best of the situation, but I don't think it's people giving up. I really don't think it. I think it's people. I think most people, 90%. I can't. This is an opinion, but I think 90% of people, I hope maybe more, would prefer to be independent. They would rather have that ability to be independent. I don't think they're giving up. I think it's just they're accepting the fact that they can't do shit on their own anymore, and it's a sad thought. Should families be allowed to place hidden cameras in the rooms to make sure they're being cared for? See, that's a difficult one. Should families be allowed to place cameras? Well, the building's owned by someone. It comes down to whoever owns the building, I suppose, and what the law says about that. Would I? That's a tough one because we are dealing with questions of privacy, and just because just because we're dealing with elderly adults in a nursing home doesn't necessarily mean they don't have a right to privacy anymore. There's no definitive answer on this one. I've never been an absolutist. I'm a situationalist, and even on this one, it is too grey an area. The best I could say is if the elderly person gives consent, great. But ultimately, without the consent, you're dealing with a moral minefield. You know what? It was a great question. Great 2 questions. I feel bummed out now. I need to cheer myself up.
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life. If life seems jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten, and that's to laugh and smile and dance and sing.
I feel much better now. Let's move on to the next question. Claire from Anfield asks, what has been the funniest moment of your life? Well, there have been quite a few funny moments. I don't think anyone can really say this was the funniest moment of my life, but I can give you some examples. When I was a kid, I thought that if I wrapped I thought if I got a towel, tied it on my neck, like that, it would make it like a cape. I'd be a superhero. I'd be like small kid, like before school kind of kid. So I wrapped this towel around my neck to make like a cape, and I went racing towards the sitting room window. So I ran, climbed up on the sofa, jumped right into the window, and boom, fell on my arse. And I didn't fall on the sofa. I went boom and across the room onto the floor. And I didn't cry, and I didn't whimper or scream or anything. I just kind of on the floor as a really small kid, just staring at the window in utter confusion, like, what the fuck is happening? Slightly when I was older, I remember. I'm trying to think of something from more teenage years. I remember I went to Milton and Teesdale. This is actually when I was in the last years of secondary school. In England, you have secondary school, then you move on to either college or sixth form. I was in the last few years of secondary school. Yeah, 5, I think. And went to a place called Milton and Teesdale. And one of the activities that you get to do in Milton and Teesdale is jumping off waterfalls. And if you had a fear of heights like I had, that does not sound fun. So I remember I was on the first waterfall, and I didn't want to jump. And there were some lasses to the side who got to walk past the waterfalls. And I was going, I want to join them lot, I don't want to be jumping off a fucking waterfall. I mean, who wants to jump off a fucking waterfall? And immediately I've got about 10 comments now probably saying, me, I want to jump off a waterfall. But all that aside, I was a kid, didn't want to. So the instructor said, oh, that's fine if he just pushes me off the fucking waterfall. So everyone's pissed themselves laughing. I'm not exactly best fucking pleased, and I managed to knock me fucking knee on the way down. It probably impacted something when I hit, but whatever the reasons, we had the second waterfall to get to, which you were supposed to treat as a slide, because you had these two rocks here, the water was passing through. If you sat down whilst all of the rocks you could find, but as soon as you let go, the water would propel you. So I'm sitting down on this, and I'm like, I do not want to do this. I do not want to do this. So the guy goes, oh, I'll help you back up. So I start to get back up, and then I get knocked off, this time accidentally. So I'm like, off a fucking waterfall. Not fucking happy. And And the most recent one, I would say, was anywhere from a year ago to a few months ago. I don't know when this happened. I know it was happening whilst I was drinking. I've been drinking one night, because I don't drink anymore, but I've been drinking one night, and I came home, and I went to talk to my fiance, who lives in America, so we talked via Skype. And so I was on the phone with her, and I was lying in bed, pissed as a fart, kind of falling asleep, and for some reason, I was obsessed with squirrels whilst I was drinking. I don't know what it was, but I remember saying to her, you know, oh my god, squirrels are awesome. Like squirrels. And I kept bringing up squirrels in every conversation. And she went, well, if you want a squirrel so bad, why don't I just go grab a squirrel? And apparently my response was like, but then I'd be taking it away from its mommy and daddy squirrel. She goes, well, why don't I just take the mommy squirrel? Like, how dare you? Then the mommy squirrel would be without the daddy squirrel and the baby. You're a bitch. You're an evil fucking bitch. That's what you are. And my fiance's laughing her ass off at this. And she goes, oh, you're absolutely crazy. You are one crazy motherfucker. And apparently, with all sincerity in the world, I responded with, hey, my mind is like a book in Braille. It's my mind. But it takes a blind man to read it. And then I fell asleep. I have not heard the end of this since it happened. There are people who have just met me who bring this up. I don't know how the fuck they found this shit out. Of course, now everyone knows. But I can't help but smile every time I hear the story. Just because I remember... The one thing I remember perfectly about that is just how much my fiancé was laughing. And that always makes me smile. You know? So yeah. That's probably some of the funniest moments of my life. But there's bound to be loads more. So how about we just steamroll to the next question? Yeah. Okay, that was pretty gay. What is your stance on George Galloway's comment that having sex with a sleeping woman was not rape as anyone with any sense can possibly recognise it if she'd already had sex with the man? What message do you think this sends out to women hearing politicians voicing such opinions? Okay, I best give a little background with this one. There's a guy called Julian Assange, who is best known for being the editor-in-chief and the founder of WikiLeaks. In 2010, there were allegations of a sexual nature against him. There's a lot of details involved. But one of the allegations made against him is that he slept with a woman while she was sleeping, even though she had slept with him prior to the incident. Now, I'm not here to comment on the allegations themselves. I'm not here to talk about Julian Assange. What I'm being asked is about George Galloway's comments. And being George Galloway is a fountain of fucking wisdom. Let's hear what he had to say about these allegations. So I'll roll the clip here.
Even taken at its worst, if the allegations made by these two women were true, 100% true, and even if a camera in the room captured them, they don't constitute rape. At least not rape as anyone with any sense can possibly recognize it. And somebody has to say this. Let's take woman A. Woman A met Julian Assange, invited him back to her flat, gave him dinner, went to bed with him, had consensual sex with him, claims that she woke up to him having sex with her again. Something which can happen, you know. I mean, not everybody needs to be asked prior to each insertion. Some people believe that when you go to bed with somebody, take off your clothes and have sex with them and then fall asleep, you're already in the sex game with them. It might be really bad manners not to have tapped her on the shoulder and said, do you mind if I do it again? It might be really sordid and bad sexual etiquette. But whatever else it is not rape. Or you bankrupt the term rape of all meaning.
Okay, Galloway. So you're under the impression that having sex with a woman whilst they're asleep is just bad etiquette and not rape. Okay, well, maybe. Tiny, but maybe he has a point. Well, I don't know. Let's look at the definition of rape, shall we? Can we get the definition of rape up on the screen? Aha, okay. Wait, can you just highlight that second bit there? There we go. Yeah. So, Galloway, she couldn't give consent to sleeping with him. Or, more accurately and bluntly, she did not consent to fucking him or to be fucked by him because she was a fucking sleep. She was asleep and therefore unable to give consent. Do you know what do you call it? When you have sex with someone who has not, cannot, or for any other reason is unable to give consent? Rape. Do you need an episode of Sesame Street about the fucking subject before it gets to your thick skull? I mean, honestly, it can't, to a certain extent. Now, don't jump on the hate SteveJones313 bandwagon. Trust me, it's a big enough bandwagon as it is. I'm not defending his actions, or rather his comments, or him, because, well, I'm not going to defend him. The point is, George Galloway is trying to say that, well, he had already slept with her, so naturally she was open to the idea of sleeping with him. So the fact that he didn't ask to sleep with her while she slept was just bad manners, but it couldn't have been that bad as she already consented one time, right? Right? What's that word I'm looking for?
Wrong!
Yeah, that's it. You see, Galloway, there were times when I was with my fiancée and I was awake in more ways than one, and she was asleep. Now, at no point in my mind did it ever occur to me to sleep with her while she was asleep. Do you know why? One, because she kicked my ass badly, and two, the fact is, you can't just you can't fuck a lass when they're asleep because they can't give their consent. They don't have the ability to exercise their right to say yes or no. You have to be able to have that right. You can't just, and I get that Galloway would agree with this. I mean, look at his fucking face. What do you think he fucking does if he ever gets a woman alone?
Now, would you like me to be the cat?
Yes, please. Good pussycat. Yes. More tickles on the back, yes. Good pussycat, yes. Good pussycat. That's swummy. Now look at this, I've got cream all over your whiskers. Yeah, good pussycat, yes. Good pussycat. Good pussycat, that's better.
Why does that video exist? Oh, this guy. This guy.
This guy is unfucking believable.
Exactly. Now, okay, Galloway's argument seems to be and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and let's face it, it's YouTube, the chances are someone's going to correct me. The argument seems to be that, well, you know, they had sex, so she consented to that, then they fell asleep, and he slept with them again. Now, that is bad manners, but hell, she gave consent just an hour or so beforehand, so it's not rape, right?
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
Here's the thing. I have 2 exes. Okay? 2. At some point, I gave them consent to sleep with me. Okay, it was probably harder to get them to consent to sleep with me, but still, you know, I at some point gave them consent to sleep with me, right? If at some point I woke up to find they were in the middle of sleeping with me, we'd have fucking issues. And I can assure you it'd be vice versa. And if I was with my lass, because unfortunately she's in America right now, god damn the fucking ocean. But anyway, if me and my lass were here, well, if my lass was here, I wouldn't be making this video, but I digress. If me and my lass were here, and she was asleep, and I was feeling awake, and she was asleep, I'm not going to assume that it's perfectly okay to sleep with her, based on the fact that at some point she had consented to sleep with me, even though she's my fiancé. I'm not going to take that liberty. Galloway, you're a fucking idiot. You really are stupid. Although, considering you did this...
Good pussycat, yes.
It's pretty hard to, you know, negate the idea that you're an idiot. I mean, who goes on national TV and pretends to be a cat? That doesn't count. Look, anyway, there was the second part of the question, which was, what message do you think it sends out to women hearing politicians voicing such opinions? Well, I don't really consider Galloway a politician, more than a stain on the fabric of human reality. But he is a politician. He is, in fact, the head of the Respect Party, if there ever was an ironic name to have. What kind of a message does it send? Some politicians are fucking morons. And that's probably because politicians are humans. Although we like to demonize them, politicians are humans and therefore absolutely capable of being complete and fucking morons. I mean, how else do you explain the BNP? Okay, they are several degrees above moron, and in fact, several planes of existence above moron. In fact, I think they personify stupidity at its very core level. In fact, I think that if you were to take an ounce, if you could take an ounce of a concept, an ounce of hatred and stupidity, broke it down to its compounds, then broke those compounds down to elements, and then broke those elements down into a single atom, you would find the genetic structure of the BNP in there. But, having said all that, politicians are human, and therefore they are likely to make mistakes, to err, and to be fucking retarded. Retarded. So yeah, what message does this sends out? That politicians are stupid and can't be trusted. But if a footballer does it, it's perfectly fine. Because that's the world we live in, folks. You know, I was kind of hoping that this program would end a little bit happier. I mean, got some great questions, you know, had some ice cream. But now I'm feeling kind of bummed again. I mean, that last question was delving in the realm of stupidity and horribleness and evil. God, I'm depressed again. I wish I had one more question to make me feel better. Something, a nicer question. Something that didn't involve misery and pain and destruction.
Hello? Anyone there? Hello?
Oh, hey Mr. Mad, haven't seen you in a while. In fact, I don't think a lot of people have seen you, seeing that you only appeared in like the last episode of the first season and hardly anyone remembers who you are. And quite frankly, this is probably just a trick to make you more recognizable for when the new season starts. But how are you?
Not bad, mate, and I've got a question for you.
So you've got a question for me? Oh, this is great. Is it? Oh, wait. Is it a happy and nice question?
Oh, it's a lovely question, mate.
Fantastic. Oh my god, I was feeling so fucking miserable. I mean, you have no idea how horrible that last question was. I mean, it was a great question to answer, but it made me feel like such crap, man.
Yeah, but you'll love this one.
Fantastic. By the way, what accent is that?
Don't know. Kind of made it up one night.
Oh, well, I suppose. I mean, so anyway, what's your question?
You ready for it?
Oh, yes, I'm ready.
You're going to love it.
Absolutely. It's a good one. It's a good one, right?
Absolutely. You ready?
Great. Okay. What's your question?
Bear versus shark. Who wins?